So let me ask you about the fish fry. Is anybody going to the fish fry?
Yes.
You are. And what are you planning on, Vivian, trying to find out there?
I go every year. So I'm looking for that openness on Friday to be able to ask clarifying questions, to get away from the rhetoric of campaigning, and actually have some concrete answers about, like, running on the economy. The economy is doing fabulous, but for who? You know, people are back to work, but in what positions? They've had to downsize the jobs that they're taking. They went back to work, but they went back to work at McDonald's. You know, they went back to work, but they went back to work at minimum wage. And so it's not a minimum wage that we need. It is a living wage that has to be implemented. So seeing people say things about that. South Carolina, a state that did not expand Medicaid expansion. What about health care? We are always at the bottom of all good lists and the top of all bad lists. You know, health care in South Carolina is a civil rights issue. It is a justice issue about what is just for the people. So I want to hear more about those types of things. Education, being crippled by student loans. You know, we so far in this country, it was illegal at one time to either educate us or give us something to read. Then it became all right for us to go to school, and now we can't afford to go to school. And when we come out of school, we're so poor from going to school until it's only open to those that have enough affluent assets to go to school now.
I'm hoping that the candidates will begin to address a lot of the issues that are going on, especially in the black community, as she stated, with student loans. You know, I think about my daughter who's trying to pay student loans now, and I think about what about my granddaughter who's going to come up, you know, who's 3 years old now. What's it going to look like then? Thinking about health care, people that can't afford health care. Kayla and I are sitting at the table now, and we know of someone who passed away recently who was working a full-time job but had to forego payments on their insurance because he just could not afford it. And so, I mean, it's really, the state of affairs is really heavy in the black community.
You know, African Americans have the same political concerns as everybody else. Climate change, you know, we're concerned about that. We're a coastal state. You know, we've seen shark attacks in North Carolina because of the change in the ocean and the climate. So we're concerned with climate change and the fact that it is real.
Is faith something that enters into your consideration, your evaluation of these candidates at all, or it is? Yeah.
I'm clergy, so absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So what do you think that you're sort of listening for on that front? How does that shape your political, you know, approach to evaluating these candidates?
I think it's a moral issue, and I think that when I'm looking for a particular candidate, I'm not looking for sermon or just a soundbite or just a scripture to sound good. I'm looking at the integrity and the character of the person. So I'm looking at their track record. You know, where are you on these particular issues? Immigration, abortion, healthcare, salary for teachers and education. You know, are you in the trenches? Jesus met people where they were, and we're for liberation of the oppressed, the depressed, and the outpressed, and the outcast. And so when I'm looking for a candidate, I'm looking for somebody who's going to get down in the trenches and get back to being civil and being, you don't have to agree with the person, but being able to treat another person as you would want to be treated. And I think that has been lost in the last 4 years since 2016. I think as a millennial looking at faith and church and what we say we believe doesn't match to what the biblical principles are and what we stand and we say we're rooted from. And that's just not just from Christianity, that's just from all faiths and how we treat people.